Uni students of Reddit, what is the biggest fuck you that your university gave during COVID? They told us to prepare to leave for 3 weeks but not pack up all our stuff. We weren't allowed to come back to campus to get our things either. They had strangers pack all of our things and store them in a storage facility. Unless we wanted to pay market rate to ship all of our belongings home. My uni did something similar. Except they didn't touch the stuff and used the dorms as quarantine areas for people entering the country. Soon enough videos of strangers going through people's stuff showed up. Oh my god, I would be so angry. 1. Full tuition for Zoom University. 2. University tried to get Proctorio spying software for our exams was shut down pretty hard by 1/5 of our entire uni signing a petition and massive online campaigns. 3. University now says that only 50% of rooms may be refilled for semester 2, leaving 50% of semester 1 students without their rooms. 4. Did I mention how bad online learning is and how lecturer dependent it is with no oversight? As far as point 4 goes, all college is lecturer dependent and there is little oversight except when it's time to pat themselves on the back. Forced multiple students with disabilities to drop out of the program because they wouldn't make accommodations. So much for being social justice oriented. Edit. A more detailed explanation. My program required an internship of a certain number of hours for the academic year. Obviously the pandemic forced everything to shut down. Many students were able to find remote alternatives. But several students, many of whom have a disability of some sort, were unable to find an alternative that meet their needs, and the university refused to assist with accommodations. The options were to stay in the program and have to do the whole internship over again once things come down, or to drop out. So a handful of students dropped out and the school kept their money. Isn't higher education great? Did the students get full refunds? Not even close. And yes, there's a lawsuit in the works, last I heard. I teach in a post-secondary school. They moved my classes online, then canceled them this year. Now the classes are coming back in June and I didn't get any. I think full tuition for classes on Zoom this year in the online learning system is really poor. It doesn't work very well. Not to mention some professors still count attendance online. Aside from people that have no access to internet to be in class in the first place. Why shouldn't professors take attendance for online class? I think especially with everything being so hard right now, you should just have to do your work and get a grade for it. With the exception of seminar classes, I don't think attendance should have an impact on your grade. College is about learning time management. If you are able to use the time more wisely yourself and get it by studying on your own, you should have that option. Most of my science classes don't take attendance, but other classes do. I'll start. I am studying in the Politecnico of Turin, in Italy. We are getting almost no information about our exams. We know only the dates. One of the professors is fixated on having the test on a virtual machine with Blender. I am studying design, and we are doing animations on Blender. Even though the students are complaining for over 2 months that online exams aren't working properly. Today, we had group projects revisions over the storyboards for Blender, and the same professor was mocking some of the projects in our works. Knowing that, since he wasn't recording this session, there was no proof. The exams will start on June 1st. Many people were hoping to get our degree in July. Me included. We know jack shit. The student representatives are organizing a mail bombing to try and change things around. Greater than the student representatives are organizing a mail bombing. That means something else to us in the US, I think. Letter writing campaign is less suspect. Greater than the same professor was mocking some of the projects in our works. Knowing that, since he wasn't recording this session, there was no proof. When plus she and start recording, making the next school year all online, yet not giving any sort of discount despite the fact most of The money they take from us is used on the facilities. Fuck the education system, monsieur. I might just drop out. University here in my province in Canada did the same. Online classes promised for start of September, with a 4.5% tuition increase even though our fees go to facilities and the like. They increased your tuition? If they're a student in Alberta. The Conservative government, UCP, came back into power and immediately increased the tuition cap the NDP had put in place and slashed funding for post-secondary education. It's going to go up like that each year for the foreseeable future. They are also going to miss out on a metric shit ton of money from people who won't be living on campus, so 4% may be generous. They worship at the altar of oil and gas and hate anything to do with progress or education. I had a really good experience moving online. All of my professors, except for one who was shit even before the shutdown, were fantastic and perfectly adapted their courses to online. Even though they'd never taught online or used Zoom, monsieur, I was pretty impressed. It was pretty much class exactly like it was before, but staring at a computer instead of faces in person. My only complaint is that when pressured about parking passes and why the school wouldn't be refunding money for passes not used, the response was, because the garages still need upkeeping. Well, that's not what I'm paying for. But whatever. A couple of students have sued for parking and other fees. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, in my daughter's classes, somehow only her ceramics teacher did a good job online. Which makes absolutely no sense, but there you have it. I go to a community college, not uni. This is my last term and I was halfway through the 3 classes needed to graduate. Only select programs were moved online. Mine was not, despite it not being hands-on. We're on hiatus until it's safe to come back. The last update was from the president of the college congratulating students for making it through the winter semester. Last semester for us is only a 12-week instead of 14-week semester. So we could do a 4-week placement. We had 3 weeks before placement started, and the first week of it was just the school preparing for online. We had 1 week of work and 1 week of exams. The week of work was fucking insane. They all added online work on top of all the final work we were supposed to do. Then we had exams and then placement. Except we didn't get placements. Instead of giving us placement in an actual work atmosphere, they made us do Go Venture CEO simulations, as if that does fuck all for us. They did not give us the option to postpone our placements or wait to get an actual job or anything. I missed out on the only actual work experience so they could push us through to graduate, which we aren't even doing. Oof. Where do I even start? I think my university did a great job at keeping the dorms and dining halls open, and I'm thankful for that, but the rest is extremely bad. Full tuition and fees even though no events etc. can take place. Telling international students they could leave before their countries shut down and the stuff in their room will be moved to the lockers for free. Now they'll need to pay 85 euros, which is a decent price, but still. Holding exams online even though the campus Wi-Fi is unreliable. Telling me and some other students we didn't have a webcam in our PCs and they've been sold out everywhere for a good 2 months or so. To just buy a laptop despite many students' bad financial situations. Not accepting medical notes by the campus psychologists even though the situation puts some students who have mentally struggled before under even more pressure. Not enforcing the exam periods 24/7 quiet hours and yet forcing us to take the exams in a quiet environment because the program flags any conversations, music, background noise as cheating. And last but not least, rejecting a pass option even though almost 40% of the student body signed a petition for it, and not even agreeing to discussing other options in the student parliament. We only got back 40% of the fees we paid for the upkeep of the stuff on campus. Other universities I know of refunded everything. My university is failing financially, so they screw students over all the time. Parking passes are initially $300 and the amount of parking spaces is 1/3 of the amount of passes. So you are never guaranteed a spot. It's like $175 to renew your pass each semester as well. It's complete bullshit. You got money back? Mine is keeping it all. Yeah, I'm sorry, you get a refund. Sad face. My university specifically sent us an email saying that they knew the formulas other schools were using to refund their students and didn't want to follow those formulas because they felt those other schools didn't return the maximum amount they could to their students. So of course we got our hopes up, thinking we would get a higher refund. And they flat out lied to us. We got a partial refund for housing and meal plans. Nothing more. The meal plan refunds only depended on what meal plan you had. We didn't get back a single penny of the money remaining in our accounts. No refunds for any of the auxiliary services we no longer had access to, such as the library, gym, and health and counseling services. I have no idea why they even bothered to send us the initial email making us think we would get more back, when we ended up getting less than basically anyone else I've talked to from other schools. This place costs about $30,000 per year and I think I got back maybe $2 minus $3,000. It's bullshit. My college costs roughly $70,000 per year and I got back $3,500. Not sure if it's less because I'm on financial aid or because they're just that stingy. Hiked tuition for next term of online classes. Told us we would have a safety net, no detriment policy, for our grades this year. Which means we will get an average for both things done before COVID and an average overall. And the highest will count. Which is great. Except, both the before and the overall average will include our dissertation grade. Our dissertation is not due until September and has been hugely affected by Corona. Almost everyone had to design their experiments on my course, and is a huge chunk of our grade. So that's a pretty useless safety net. Not me. Girlfriend's niece attends a US college. State shut down, school shut down, etc. Had to be out by X date. Then afterwards they say, "We never said you had to leave. You broke your lease for the dorm." We still had to pay full tuition despite classes being online. And most professors decided to automatically pass everyone because of it, which didn't benefit our education at all. Some students started a petition to call for a cut in the course fees for the final term, which would be around $1,500 for each enrolled student. They simply said, "Not possible," after we moved online, to shut us up complaining. They told us we could apply for SAC extensions and it was implied we'd be guaranteed them because of COVID shutting all campus facilities down. A week before submission they told us it was an outside body that grants SAC extensions. They probably wouldn't grant the extension just because of COVID and you wouldn't find out either. Wait until after the original deadline. If you submitted on the original deadline, then your SAC extension application would be automatically dismissed. If you didn't submit on time and had your application denied, then you'd be capped at 40%. Who the hell would take that gamble? Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.